All right, starting with the top story of the hour, China is rapidly transforming its military posture along the line of actual control, with artificial intelligence now emerging as a key component of its border strategy. And according to an exclusive report by the Sunday Guardian, the People's Liberation Army has significantly expanded its AI-enabled surveillance and command communications and logistics network across the Tibetan Plateau. And this report says this modernization goes beyond roads, railways and airfields. China is building an integrated digital battlefield where AI is being used to process real-time data from satellites, drones, sensors and command centers, helping the PLA make faster operational decisions. And the aim is to compress response times, improve troop coordination and strengthen its ability to respond quickly and to any situation along the LAC. And the report also highlights that China's broader military doctrine of intelligence-led warfare is now being translated into practical deployments along its border with India, and the modernized PLA will compress the response time along the LAC and enable faster, more coherent military operations against India. Now, joining me on the telecast is Group Captain M.J. Augustine, who's a former Indian Air Force officer, and Captain Sham Kumar, former Indian Navy officer. Now, starting my conversation firstly with Group Captain M.J. Augustine, how do you think that these developments that are taking place along LAC, does this mean for the modern AI warfare in terms of China's build-up along LAC, as well as how prepared do you think India is to deal with this?
In fact, I would go so far as saying a couple of days ago, if you listen to Home Minister Amit Shah ji in one of the interviews, he mentioned very clearly that Indian borders are today intelligent borders. So this report is, I think, in counter to that particular statement, because that statement has been picked up not only by China, it has been picked up by Pakistan, America, as well as European Union. So we have, I know for a fact, because my wife has a company which is closely working with one such solution in our northern as well as western borders. Having said that, for years we measured China's military build-up by just counting roads, bridges, airfields in Tibet, how fast are they generating infrastructure along our border, etc. But today we need to look at it from the point of view of how sensor fusion and information fusion is happening. And not only that the information is being fused as one coherent picture, decisions are being taken in using that information. Let me give you quickly an example so that our viewers understand this. Say you are looking at a CCTV picture from the border where you see about 100 vehicles. Okay, in one quick glance, you may not be able to make out how many main battle tanks are there, how many BMPs are there, how many support vehicles are there, and what kind of battle formation is this group of vehicle is posing. But bring in AI into this element, AI will be immediately able to tell you there are 152 main battle tanks and 11 BMPs, and they are in leapfrog formation. And this it will tell you in less than 1.5 to 2 seconds, which otherwise you would have taken probably minutes or in some cases hours to come to a conclusion what kind of battle formation, how many vehicles are there. That is how fast the OODA loop is compressed. What is OODA loop? Observe, orient, direct and act. So you observe, you orientate yourself, you direct the counter forces and you act accordingly. So OODA loop now is compressed from minutes to seconds. Now, intelligent border is the need of the hour, not only for us, for any country worth its salt. I'll tell you why. Intelligent border, you know what happened in Galwan. Galwan, both forces faced each other. They didn't have weapons, so they, broke each other's skull using makeshift, some kind of a hammer kind of a thing. And that is how Galwan started. Now, when you have intelligent border, when you know this is the battle formation and this is going to be your counter formation, what will happen is the AI will be able to do something called, I want the viewers to go and Google it, something called net assessment. And what net assessment does is it plays the possible scenarios thousands of times and comes to a conclusion, what will be the possible conclusion of this encounter, and enemy will also come to the same conclusion as you or similar conclusion as you, and probably the attack may not happen, the country, that battle may not happen, and the countries may not go to war. And that is something which is absolutely music to my ears, because if a conflict is avoided is better than, when do you go to a conflict situation? When something breaks down. That is when आप हाथ उठाते हैं, नहीं तो आप बातों से सुलझाने की कोशिश करते हैं, isn't it? Even at home. So we don't want to get to hatapai. We want to finish it by talking to each other. That. Secondly, AI is about logistics. Let me give you a good example for our viewers. When you go from A to B using a Google map, when there is a roadblock or some water block or some accident, Google reroutes you, isn't it? How is it doing that? It has taken that information using the AI, rerouting you. Similar thing is going to happen when you want to predict ammunition requirement, when you want to know how much fuel you need to store, what should be the helicopter scheduling, how much road to be used today. Earlier days, we used to do it on Excel. It is called the road usage the data that we used to give and say, okay, this unit, you will take off from your unit at 11:58 and you will clear this road by 12:13. That you will have to do it well in advance. That you don't have to do anymore because AI is going to take care of that. Why is it required? In the Himalayan frontiers, the road is in premium, especially when during operations, because it is a single road leading to the border areas, both sides. And it has problems like low oxygen, harsh weather condition, population, the distances are huge. It's mind-boggling to tell you the problem. So even if AI can help you there, it's going to be a lot of hardships for the people along the road, and the soldiers moving on both sides is going to reduce hell of a lot. So I am looking at it positively, because building an AI-enabled surveillance using the data fusion that I talked about, using Eurostats, seismic sensors, UAVs, acoustic sensors, etc., is going to aid the commanders to take accurate decision on the field, which I tell you, sometimes is a great boon for both the countries. India, I think, is far ahead in terms of indigenous AI than, especially border monitoring I'm talking about, than probably China. So this article is probably has come as, like I said, a response to Home Minister's statement of our AI-enabled monitoring that we are doing, both online, offline, and securely over something called an OFC, the optical fiber cable, so that there is no electronic signal that is in the air for enemy to capture. So that kind of thing, when we are doing, I think we are far ahead in terms of AI utilization for taking decisions. We also have, I think, China, at least in the Indian front, does not have it. Is the swarm of drones which we have, both quadcopters, FPV drones, loitering munitions, autonomous logistics. We are far ahead as far as this is concerned, for simple reason. Our mountain warfare capability is much better than China, because we don't. We are coming from planes, and we are coming from 20, 30 airfields as opposed to only 4 airfields in China, ma'am.
All right, Group Captain Augustine, stay on with me. I also have with me Captain Sham Kumar. Captain, when we talk about these developments that are taking place along LAC, let's also remember the Galwan Valley clashes as well. How important do you think these developments are in terms of the modern AI warfare, and also India's stand in terms of this?
Thank you, Jai Hind, Shanu Varuna. Yes, 6 years have passed since we witnessed the Galwan crisis. Chinese soldiers were prepared, and we lost some soldiers in that, but we gave the befitting reply for the physical warfare, since there is no weapon used, but there was a very different kind of weapons, and I believe Chinese ordered more of them. Will nails glove fittings for future requirements. But moving beyond that, covering the infrastructure facilities on either side of the border, while China was quite ahead of us, we quickly took over and we have made our own infrastructure, physical facilities, hardcore military facilities in operational areas, and we are quite capable today. Anything that happens, the adversaries will see the befitting reply. Talking about the command control operations and AI-enabled warfare, which is the requirement of the day, it is very important. As a naval officer, I understand it a little ahead because we did it 30 years back, because Navy have been always net-centric, and all the aircraft and ships give the entire domain awareness to the command center on a very quick way, and the fleet moves together in a net-centric missions else and secured communication. So when we are talking about today's AI, much of it has been almost as a, you can say the skeleton structure has been there and quite maneuvered, polished, used and utilized during the tactical maneuvers of naval warfare. Similar things, we can look at it and see in the contemporary world at the AI-enabled happenings at China-India border. Yes, PLA Navy has advanced drone systems, autonomous combat systems, and the number of drones they can probably launch, swarm drones to have 150 or so at one time to carry out surveillance and very close to our borders, whether it is Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh, an area around. PLA Navy is trying to keep a good visual, and again, AI-enabled, as I say, orientation, observation and orientation is the first part of Buddha cycle, but then domain awareness to the command and decision making by the command centers. In that regard, they have made a Western Theater Command, which is operational since 2016, and then the joint operational command centers from where a single commander can probably take a decision on the inputs and intelligence that which is happening, which is getting onto him, and then carry out an execution by a single command, which can go to all the units and all three, all kinds of, whether it is space, this is AI or a special operation team or the combat teams which is there on the border. So this cycle has been compressed. As you said in the beginning, the time available is seconds. And obviously the Indian side has to cater for it, that the time available will be very less today than of yesterday years. So that is why it's all about today's AI-enabled warfare. We are talking about AI-enabled ships which are operating in Hormuz today. You see 100 AI-enabled ships which are 50 meter or so crewless. You know, MH-60 helicopter, when it crashed in Hormuz at night, the autonomous boat without crew went and recovered it. First search and rescue operation at high sea by a non-crew autonomous boat. Robotics are being used to clear the mines in the Hormuz. MH-60 Romeo helicopters are carrying scan sonars, and then the boats are going underwater and detonating the detonation is also taking place.
All right,
you
Captain,
can imagine.
We have run out of time.
That is how it is going.
Sorry to interrupt you, but we have run out of time. But thank you so much, Captain Shyam Kumar and Group Captain MJ Augustine. Thank you for sharing your input. But meanwhile, more news coming in.